My question is, I feel a bit embarrassed actually. I can easily cut off and withdraw and be separated. And the question is, how do I stop myself doing that?
This is a power you have learned, right?
It's very powerful.
It is very powerful, and perhaps it was appropriate at some time. It's the power of dissociation, or the power of withdrawal. It's very powerful. Certain people are given this power. So then the question is, are you willing to surrender this power, to give it up?
I certainly am willing.
You're willing? Wonderful. And then when the temptation arises to reclaim that power, you don't touch it. It's that simple. The complication is in, well, I'll reclaim a little of it and just save it just in case, and I might need it. Well, this is what is spoken of in all the spiritual literature, the necessity to give up, to surrender the powers that have entranced you. Yes, so with the pleasure and the power of this power also comes the suffering. And that's what you're aware of.
Yeah.
That's the maturity that is necessary, to see that the power itself is limited, and that what is wanted is deeper than the power to separate oneself. Because this power requires some, you may not even be aware of it, perhaps you are, some doing, some steps.
Oh yeah, jealousy, comparison.
Okay, so there's jealousy that arises, and then from that first there's comparison arises, and then there's jealousy, and then
inadequacy.
And then a story of inadequacy, and a story of insecurity, and insecurity means some fear, I would suspect. And then what's the step? Because all of that's fine so far. All of that's fine, no problem so far. Painful, yes. There's no problem with pain. There is to be pain. If you are seeking anything to avoid pain, that's the suffering. That's the search that must be called off, the seeking to avoid the pain. There's nothing wrong with pain. You will see when you stop seeking to avoid it. So now what happens?
I guess there's an avoidance of feeling the hurt.
So the avoidance of feeling the hurt. And now let's go into that. What are the steps in that avoidance to feeling the hurt? What do you tell yourself? There's got to be some mantra with that.
To avoid that?
To avoid the hurt.
Become defensive and hit out.
And what do you say inside yourself?
You know, it happens so quick I don't even think.
Yes, but we are slowing it down. Slow motion. So that you can see it very clearly. It happens quickly because you're very practiced at it. You're very adept at it. So you drive the car, you don't think about what steps go, you don't think about that. Except when you're teaching somebody how to drive a car, you realize, this has to happen, 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 this has to happen. So I'm asking you to teach me how it is you withdraw. Say, I want to learn how to withdraw. What are the steps? Yes. Okay. So now you have to examine. Okay, it seems so natural to me. It just happens, but it doesn't just happen because you've seen the lead up to it.
Yeah, I can just say to myself, I'm going to go blank here.
I'm going to go blank here.
And I'm going to withdraw and move back.
And I'm going to withdraw and move back. And then what has to happen? What do I do internally?
And then I want to run away.
But internally? Internally. So I get all that. That's good. That makes sense. I can do that now.
Okay, good. And then you get lots of adrenaline.
Lots of adrenaline? Where does that come from? How do you generate that?
I'm not sure.
Well, let's see. You're teaching me.
Okay. You get really angry.
Angry at somebody who's causing me to run away. Okay. So now I've got this story about me and inadequacy based on some comparison and some feelings of jealousy and worthlessness. But now I have to involve somebody else who caused this story.
Yeah, because they deserted me.
They deserted me. Now the story, I can start to feel it right through there. They deserted me.
They did.
And then?
This is not so hard after all, guys. Oh dear. Right, now where we're at.
So we are unwinding the story that was wound so tightly that you didn't even know it was there. It just seemed like something that just happened. We're unwinding it, and we have gotten to the point of where I'm victimized in two ways. By this feeling of jealousy that arises in me, and this person that causes that feeling. So I've got to escape. Now what I want to know is, how do I make the next step to escape? What happens physiologically? What happens in my body? What happens in my emotions? How do I go blank? How do I withdraw? How do I hide?
Stop talking.
Stop talking? Okay.
Clench my teeth.
Clench your teeth? Okay.
Yeah.
What happens to the eyes?
Blank stone.
Stone eyes.
Yeah. Very cold.
Very cool. And my body itself, is there a posture that goes with it?
I'm not quite sure.
Well, put yourself in the situation. And
Yeah, slumped. I guess victim, got to be victim, so it's really slumped around children. Yeah,
well, I'm telling you, this takes some effort.
Yeah. And it does.
It does.
Because I'm very tired. I'm sick of fighting this depression. And
It's effort is a lot of energy, you know.
There is a lot of energy that goes into it.
So then what's the solution? What you see all the steps. I'm sure there are many more other steps, but those are at least enough to see. At any point along the way, you have seen it now. At any point along the way, you can say, "Stop. I'm giving up this power to close down." So you sit up straight, you open your eyes, you say, "Hello, you have hurt me," or "I'm feeling hurt and I'm blaming you," or just "I'm feeling hurt, I hurt," or "I love you."
Thank you.
You see how easy? Isn't this easier?
It is.
It is. This is the truth that we hate to tell. Because we have so much invested in these powers that we have developed. And we think they're so great and special. And to give them up means I will actually be unprotected. I will actually have to experience this pain. But you see that in protecting yourself, you still experience the pain. So what a bad joke you have played on yourself. If this protection actually worked, it would be another matter. But the protection augments the pain, turns the pain into suffering. Pain is pain, and yes, so let's say there's jealous pain, and we can diagnose jealousy and why it shouldn't be or why it should be, but say it's there, just as part of the human experience. Jealousy. Feel it. I'm jealous, I hurt, I'm fearful, I love. Now what am I going to do? Withdraw, hate, close off, or just hurt and love? I recommend hurting and loving. There is a beauty then to the hurt and to this most human emotion. I don't know if other animals are jealous. Maybe they are. They probably are.
If they're humanized.
Well, they probably are anyway, you know. We think that the negative emotions are limited to humans, but people have studied animals a lot now, and you know, there's this one man who studied ants a lot. And we have this idea of ants as being, well, ants, you know. But they aren't just ants. I mean, they have personalities, and they have certain ants that are hiding because they don't want to work like the other ants. Honestly. And then they have those ants that go and find them, you know, and bring them back. Yeah, and if they can examine them closer, they will see they're probably comedian ants and tragedy ants, and just like with the gods. It's the same thing. So let us say that these emotions, these feelings, are just part of the theater. A life, a precious life, that is being lived in avoidance of hurt and the suffering that's a result of that. It's a dead life then. I'm not saying totally, because I know that there are aspects where you don't avoid, but we are speaking specifically of this scenario where there's a closing down, a blanking, a collapsing, and a story of hurt is very different from an experience of hurt. An experience of hurt is an experience of hurt. Maybe it was generated by a story, but it's directly the experience. And in that, then the love is not covered. You don't have to go stony. You don't have to collapse. You love and you hurt. Good.